All right, the next stop on the Road of Life podcast with John Miller, we have Paulette LeBlanc in Moncton, New Brunswick. Paulette, how are you?
Good, good.
Good. So, Paulette, starting out, where were you born?
I was born at the George Dumont Hospital, July 16th, 1967.
Okay, so you were born in Moncton, New Brunswick, on Canada's eastern seaboard in the province of New Brunswick. Just for perspective, for people that don't know where that is, Canada's eastern seaboard. So you were born to basically how big was your family growing up and all that stuff?
Well, I was given up for adoption at 5 days old, and I ended up going into a foster home. And at the time of my birth, they told my mother that I only had 3 months to live and that she would be better off giving me up. And then I went into a foster home who were the people that brought me up for 16 years. That was my Nana and grandfather, I used to call them. And I had a good life with them there.
Excellent. All right. Good stuff. So growing up, you went to public school, did you?
Yes. I should mention I had a lot of medical issues when I was first born. I had open heart surgery when I was 5 years old. So the first 5 years of my life were spent in and out of hospitals a lot. So, and I did end up going to public school at the age of 6. And just a fun fact, when I started school, I was wearing size 18 months clothing.
Wow.
Because I'm a little person.
So what physical challenges, you mentioned early in life, medical problems, what physical challenges has that presented to you going along through life?
The physical challenges that I had is that I had dwarfism, and a lot of that stopped me from doing different activities and stuff like to keep up with the older kids. But I was brought up knowing that I had that. And I was also brought up with the fact that I was in a foster home. So I had at a young age, I had a very good understanding of how things worked out for me and accepted that. So it was funny because a lot of people find out when they get older about diagnosis or that they're given up. And I was told at a very young age. So I learned how to accept that right away. And I never really had a problem with being a little person or being given up for adoption.
Do you have any visual challenges at all?
Yes, I do. I'm visually impaired. I have glaucoma and double vision and cataracts. And I'm also hearing impaired.
So how does that affect your ability? Does it affect your ability to work or anything like that?
Yes, it does. I am on disability. I'm not able to work. But later, in my early years of my life, I was able to put like 20 years in the workforce. And so now I'm on disability and kind of retired. So,
So what did you do for 20 years when you were in the workforce?
In the workforce, when I first started out working, I took a cooking course, and then I ended up working as a cook at a restaurant down on Main Street. And before that, I was actually a bus girl. So I walked in, I asked for the job, got it, walked out, was working. So.
Quite something. So early on in life, you went to public school and then you went to high school. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Harrison Trumbull.
How did that go for you?
Funny story behind that. I graduated from high school and I couldn't read at all. And after I got out of high school, when I started in the workforce, I actually went back and learned how to read. I used to be in the kitchen, would hide the orders coming in and ask the waitresses to repeat whatever they were saying so that I didn't have to read anything. And I hid it for many years. And I went back and I learned how to read.
How did you get through the testing process in high school without being able to read?
Well, I could read some, but a lot of it was repeated work that you would do throughout the years because it was special education. So you learn how to memorize the answers and do different things, right? So I could read some, but not at a high level, right?
Did you do any post-secondary after high school?
Post-secondary, I took a cooking course at the Tech and got a Block 1.
Excellent. Good stuff. Are you an actual licensed chef now?
No, not now. There's 4 blocks to being a chef, and I got block 1. I was 2 hours off from getting block 2, but I got laid off at my job. So, because you had to be in, like at that time, I think it was I was going to be a part of the union and then have my hours to go back for my second block, but I didn't end up going back.
Okay. So now you're.
I can tell you everything you need to do with your food. Like I can walk into people's houses and the way they store their food, or how to cook things, and I can tell you exactly how to do it. Like the education's in the head. I just don't do it, as a job.
All right, good stuff. So anyway, present day, what are you doing present day? You're on disability. Do you do any volunteer work?
I do volunteer work with CNIB, and I'd like to mention that in the past, I also did a lot of volunteer work with the Mirror Foundation for the guide dog school in Quebec, and I volunteered with them for 15 years. And today I do a little bit of volunteer work with CNIB, and I have a passion for miniatures, so like making doll houses and stuff using magnifiers and all that. So I like collecting and putting things together and stuff like that. So I'm always busy, right? I'd like to mention that I do have an organization that is involved with me. It's the Canadian Deafblind Rebella Association.
Okay.
And I have an intervener 20 hours a week that helps me to navigate through the difficult world that we have. If I don't understand or see or hear what's going on, she's my like an interpreter between me and the real world. And we've been together now for 15 years. And during the pandemic, she got Intervener of the Year across Canada, right? And I just wanted to acknowledge that she's like my BFF, and and
So is she like an advocacy worker?
yes. Well, she's like an intervener, so an intervener for the Canadian Deafblind. So she works with me to advocate, do all sorts of different things. So we do activities and stuff like that. So
the nickname we give you is, of course, the Karate Kid, because you are feisty and you are very upbeat, and you're a very inspiring person, and we thank you for that. You mentioned advocacy. Do you feel there's enough advocacy, Paulette, for
No.
people in your situation?
No, there isn't.
Where is it lacking?
Where is it lacking?
Yeah.
It's lacking to the fact that I hear like a lot of people complain, but they don't want to do anything about it. Right? They want to, and the thing is, for example, I reported a couple of incidents of some cab drivers doing something wrong, and I was really frustrated because I felt like I was the only one that was doing it. But I was told that it was okay, because like a lot of people, some people with disabilities, they figure, oh, this person will take care of it, or oh, that person will take care of it. So, but if we all get together and work together as one, we can make a big difference in the world, right? But it starts off with you. Like advocating starts off with you, and you being like reporting the situation or like doing something about it, right? So, and then maybe more people will follow suit later on.
Okay. Are there any websites that persons in the community who would wish to join with you in advocacy could visit in order to?
Well, I'm not involved in advocacy, more or less, but I don't know of any really websites they could go on. Like, I'm not sure. Like CNIB website, they could go on there. I know with the Canadian Deafblind, our organization is in Fredericton, and if I see anything that's unfair, they advocate on our part for sure. So, and we do quite a bit of advocacy. Like for example, June was Deaf Blind Month, and CCB asked me to come and speak about my experiences with Canadian Deafblind and one night. And so I went on and I did that. Kevin came on with me, the executive director, and Ashley came on too. So we talked about my experiences and all that stuff. So like that was a big way of advocating, but they both came on, like the executive director and Kevin and then Ashley, they both came and went to that. to support me and what I had to say. You don't see that very often with organizations that, you know, the head one will actually come on. And this was a last minute thing, and they took time out of their day to come and do that with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very honored to be able to talk about what those services do for me and also to advocate for the Canadian deafblind as well. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
So you mentioned for a number of years you worked with guide dogs. Is that both seeing eye dogs and support dogs for PTSD, or is it just one?
Okay, the Mirror Foundation, it was basically they have 3 different types of dogs that they train. One for people in wheelchairs, another people uh, for children with autism, and then guide dogs for the blind. The part I did was to help raise money.
Mm-hmm. So you were a fundraiser for those efforts.
Yes, yeah.
Are you aware of the process for training these dogs and getting these dogs to a point where they're fully in service?
I'm aware of the process. Like they go into a foster home, and then they start out, and then they go back to school for training, and then they're being given out to the client that needs them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a little yellow lab. Her name was Wendy. She was the love of my life. There's another couple that took care of her, but I used her for fundraising for almost 8 years, and we were. She was very special to me, and we raised a lot of money throughout the years. And
Mm-hmm.
I was around when she came in the world, and I was there when she went out of the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she was like, what a character. She was just a character, you know. And she was a public relations dog because she was terrified of traffic and loud noises. So we used her for fundraising. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Do they start training them at pups, like at birth?
Well, I think they go into a foster home. I'm not sure when the ages are. If you go on the Mirror Foundation website, all the information is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
about the dogs, but I do know that they stay with their mom a certain time. They go into a foster home for about a year and a half, and then back to school for intensive training
Mm-hmm.
for 6 to 8 months.
And so there's a process if a person is going to acquire one of these support animals. There's a long process in adoption and things like
Well, it's not really an adoption. It's more like, are you talking about
that. The dogs, yeah.
the dog? Well, they go and they get the dog, right? You know, they
Mm-hmm.
go up to school and they train with the dog, and then they bring the dog back home.
Mm-hmm.
All the guide dog schools across Canada kind of work the same way. So, and I've had the pleasure of actually babysitting some of these dogs when the owners would go away,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
I know there's one in Quebec. There's none in New Brunswick, is there?
no.
No, there's one in Quebec.
And there is a difference between a support dog and a service dog.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a service dog,
Mm-hmm.
right? Support dog would be more like, say, if like emotional support,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
PTSD and things
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
There's different kinds, isn't there?
Actually, I think PTSD is classified as a service dog,
Mm-hmm.
right? A support dog is like an emotional support dog.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference, like they, I could really get into that one, but I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But with the service dogs, there's a difference between, like, a support dog is more like an emotional support, and then a service dog is more school related, trained that way. So yeah.
Well, we talked earlier about you being inspirational and being a lot about advocacy. You recently received an award. Would you like to talk about that?
Thank you to someone sitting in the chair behind me.
Uh-huh.
I got the award. Now, I got
What is it called?
the Heart of CNIB award.
Excellent.
Okay, so there's a little story behind this, and it's funny how things work out. When I was in my younger years, I unfortunately got addicted to drugs and alcohol at a young age. Because of being in the foster care system, that's how I cope dealing with my life. I've been clean now for a long time, like 32 years. Now, the Heart Award was from Pierre Boudreau. He was also a recovering alcoholic or a recovering addict. and he had the same amount of clean time as I did. We happened to be talking about that one year or one time on a chat, and it was just him and I at some point, and it was really neat that I got that award, like as if Pierre had said to me, "Here, you deserve this," right? Because he had the same amount of clean time I did, right? So getting that award was really special to me because of that, and it's just volunteering and stuff. So,
The award is connected to a whole bunch of things that a person deals with in life.
Yeah, and it was just funny how that worked out, right? Because there's another lady that got Volunteer of the Year, right? And then I got this one, and it was named after Pierre Boudreau, right? And he was a recovering addict like I was, and I didn't know I was getting that award. So it was pretty cool to find out that I got an award that honored him. Unfortunately, we lost him about a couple of years ago. He passed away. So what they usually do is they take an outstanding person in the community that has done volunteer work or and they'll do an award, like name an award after somebody. Now, just fun fact, we had a friend of ours that he passed away years ago. His name was Randy, Randy Frizzell. And he turned around. When he passed away, they had a hand, like two hands together for an award. And there was a guy down in St. John that got the award, and they called him the blind bartender, right? And what happened was Randy used to be at the bars all the time. So we thought it was really appropriate that he got that award the same way I got mine. So it's funny how when you look at situations that happens like that, eh? So.
True enough. Well, Paulette, you truly are a resilient individual who has faced life's challenges with the utmost of character, and we congratulate you on your reward, and we wish you all the best. Thanks so much for coming on Road of Life podcast with John Miller and sharing your journey today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, folks, that's it for another episode of Road of Life podcast with John Miller. If you would like to appear on Road of Life podcast or have any comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out at roadoflifepodcast@outlook.com. That's roadoflifepodcast@outlook.com. Thanks once again, Paulette, so much. All the best.